Ukraine's military is going to finally get its hands on Western armor, something it's long requested as its forces try to repel Russia's invasion. The White House announced that it intends to send Bradley fighting vehicles to Ukraine, joining other NATO countries that have also pledged to send armored vehicles. The Bradley Fighting Vehicle, BFV, is a tracked armored fighting vehicle platform of the United States developed by FMC Corporation and manufactured by BAE Systems Land Armaments, formerly United Defense. It's named after U.S. General Omar Bradley, who commanded U.S. troops in World War II. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said, thanking U.S. President Joe Biden and the U.S. Congress, "For the first time we will receive Bradley armored vehicles. This is exactly what we need." He added, "So as of now, there are more air defense systems, more armored vehicles, Western tanks for the first time, more guns and shells, and all this means more protection for Ukrainians and all Europeans against all kinds of Russian terror." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes how dangerous will Bradley fighting vehicle be for Russia. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. Use the code DEFENSE at the checkout to get an extra month free for the 2-year plan. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. The Bradley Infantry Fighting Vehicle is an armored vehicle that's capable of transporting troops on the battlefield and providing fire support, as well as reconnaissance missions. In 1972, the U.S. Army requested a design proposal to meet a requirement for a Mechanized Infantry Fighting Vehicle, IFV. Bradley was developed in response to the Soviet BMP-1 IFV. These vehicles, which are quick and highly maneuverable, are operated by a 3-person crew, consisting of a driver, the commander, and a gunner, and can carry up to half a dozen fully equipped soldiers. The Bradley has at times been misidentified as a tank, even as military experts and government officials have tried to explain that it's not so. Bradley saw action during the Gulf War of the early 1990s and in the following decade during the Iraq War, and proven to be effective. Bradley weighs about 36 tons, which makes its weight about half of an Abrams main battle tank. Like a tank, the Bradley is tracked rather than wheeled and has an operational range of around 300 miles or 480 kilometers. Powered by Cummins VTA 903T 8-cylinder diesel, 600 horsepower, 450 kilowatt engine, it can travel at just over 40 miles per hour or 65 kilometers per hour. The Bradley is highly capable in cross-country open terrain, in accordance with one of the main design objectives of keeping pace with the M1 Abrams main battle tank. As a defense against various munitions, such as certain armor-piercing rounds and rocket-propelled grenades, the Bradley is protected by explosive, reactive aluminum armor and steel skirts. It's also equipped with 2 4-barreled smoke grenade launchers on the front of the turret for creating defensive smoke screens, which can also be loaded with chaff and flares. It offers a significantly higher level of protection for the dismounts than the M113 armored personnel carrier. There are many variants of Bradley that include configurations designed for scouting. Bradley have been exported to many countries too. The Bradley is armed with a 25mm M242 Bushmaster chain gun and a 7.62mm M240C machine gun. It can also carry multiple TOW anti-tank missiles. The Bushmaster is a single-barrel chain gun with an integrated dual-feed mechanism and remote feed selection. The cannon carries 300 rounds of ammunition in 2 ready boxes. The 2 ready boxes allow a selectable mix of rounds. The tungsten APDST armor-piercing, discarding sabot with tracer rounds proved effective in Desert Storm, capable of knocking out many Iraqi vehicles, including several T-55 tanks. A few kills against Iraqi T-72 tanks at close range are reported. The M240C medium machine gun is mounted coaxially to the M242 with 2,200 rounds of 7.62 by 51mm ammunition. For engaging heavier targets, such as acting in anti-tank fashion, the Bradley carries a TOW missile system. TOW is short for tube-launched, optically tracked, wireless guided. Dependent on the variant, TOW has an operational range of 3,750 meters and can penetrate 430 to 900 millimeter RHA, or rolled homogeneous armor. Retired Lieutenant General Mark Hertling, also a former commanding general of U.S. Army Europe, tweeted, "The Brad is not a tank, but it can be a tank killer." In this context, it's to be noted that in the new security package for Ukraine, the Pentagon said that the U.S. will send 500 TOW missiles and 250,000 rounds of the 25mm ammunition. Hertling, who identified himself as a former Bradley commander, said on social media that the Bradley doesn't have a lot of complicated issues with its engine or turret and is low maintenance. Bradleys will bring firepower and mobility to the table. Ukraine could use Bradley in conjunction with its own tanks as part of the Mechanized Combined Arms Team, an advanced fighting tactic Ukrainians will receive training for in the coming weeks. The TOW missile in Bradley would be deadly for Russian tanks. Ryder, the Pentagon press secretary, said the Bradleys will provide a significant boost to Ukraine's already impressive armor capabilities, adding that we are confident that it will aid them on the battlefield. The timeline by which Ukraine can get Bradleys is dependent on several factors. If shipped by sea from the U.S., the trip could take several weeks. If the Bradleys the U.S. has in Europe are sent to Ukraine, the timeline would be much shorter. Ukrainians will also need training on how to operate the vehicles. The move to send modern infantry fighting vehicles to Ukraine could pave the way to supplying the more powerful Western tanks, something U.S. and European allies have so far been reluctant to do. Overall, the situation seems to be taking a turn for the worse for Russia in Ukraine with the imminent introduction of Bradleys.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.